Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's library. Chapter 29. Old man, said Kyle, leading his team around the balcony. Back to the young adult room. 9 library cards, that is fantastic. They gathered around the table. Okay guys, time for everybody to put their cards on the table literally. The teammates sat down their cards. Kyle spread out the 5 from the discard bowl. Acme pulled out a pad and wrote all the information on one master list. Books, authors, and the backs of library cards. Number 1, Miguel Fernandez. Incident at Hawks Hill by Alan W. Eckert. No, David, by David Shannon. Number 2, Acme Hughes. One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish by Dr. Seuss. 9 stories by J.D. Salinger. Number 3, Unknown. Number 4, Bridget Wage. Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing by Judy Blume, Harry Potter, and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Number 5, Sierra Russell. The Egypt Game by Zilpha Cady Snyder. The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. Number 6, Yasmin Smith Snyder. Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. And The Yak Who Yelled Yuck by Carol Pugliano Martin. Number 7, Sean Keegan, Olivia by Ian Falconer. Unreal by Paul Jennings. Number 8, Unknown. Number 9, Rose Vermetti. All of Wakind's Family by Sidney Taylor. Scat by Carl Hyson. Number 10, Kyla Corson. Anna to the Infinite Power by Mildred Ames. And Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. Number 11, Unknown. Number 12, Kyle Keeley. I Love You Stinky Face by Lisa McCourt. The Napping House by Audrey Wood. Wow, said Sierra, that's a lot of good books. But what do all those authors and titles mean? It means we need Charles, Andrews, and Haley's cards, said Kyle. Really, said Acme? Because if you ask me, we already have too much information. Well, said Kyle, maybe later we'll find a clue that'll tell us how to read this clue. And how are we going to do that? Asked Miguel. Have you ever played this? Kyle pointed to the Bibliomania box. Nope, always wanted to. We were just about to get up a game. Does this have anything to do with finding our way out of the library? We sure hope so, said Acme. Awesome. By the way, Kyle said to Miguel, what you find in the art and artifacts room? What did you find in the art and artifacts room? Yeah, said Acme. All those papers you kept trying to hide from us, Miguel grinned. The original blueprints for the Gold Leaf Bank building? Clever, said Kyle. That way you could look for old exits that might still exist behind new walls. Exactly. We find any extra exits? Asked Acme. Nope, no hidden windows either. Yeah, what's up with that? How come they built this place with so few windows? To discourage bank robbers, I guess, said Kyle. Yep, said Miguel. The only way in was through the front door. The fire exits could only be opened from the inside, like at a movie theater. The vault itself was all the way down in the basement. Mr. Lemoncello kept all that security, said Kyle, and added his own. So it would seem, well, hopefully, Bibliomania will lead us to some kind of an alternate exit. And fast, said Acme. Don't forget, we're not the only ones playing this game. One of the other guys is probably halfway out the door already. Okay, said Kyle, gameplay is pretty simple. You spin the spinner and advance your piece the number of spaces the needle points to. You move around the library and go into each of the 10 Dewey Decimal Rooms, where you can pick up a book by answering a clue card. If you guess wrong, you get a new clue card in the same room on your next turn. The first person to fill the 10 slots in their bookshelf and spin the way out of the library wins. It's sort of like Trivial Pursuit, said Sierra. and the questions aren't all that hard because they're mostly multiple choice. Let's hear one, said Miguel eagerly. The cards were separated into 10 multicolored mini stacks, one for each room. Kyle grabbed a green card. Okay, this is for the 800s room. Literature. Deathly ill and pursued by the ring rats, Frogo Bargains was carried safely across the river Brunnen on the gleaming white elf horse of Glorfindel named Asphodel, Astloff, Almiranen, and Angelica. Acme shook her head like she was having a brain freeze. What? I think the answer might be A, said Miguel. That's all A's, said Kyle. Asphodel, Asphala, it's Asphalov, said Sierra. It's from J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Kyle flipped the card over and read the answer. You're correct. You get a copy of the Lord of the Rings to put in your bookshelf. So Kyle and Acme, how exactly is knowing the name of the elf horse going to help us get out of the library? Maybe it's like a secret code, suggested Miguel. And the 10 book titles will form a sentence telling us how to get out. Possibly, said Kyle, but I see one problem. What's that, he said. It's too random. Mr. Lemoncello would have had no idea which 10 cards we might pick. Well, said Sierra, maybe there are the only 10 questions, one for each room. Acme grabbed the card stacks, fanned them out. Nope, they're all different. Hang on, said Kyle. He was remembering something about another game, Mr. Lemoncello's indoor-outdoor scavenger hunt. How his mother had been able to write to the company and request a fresh set of cards. He turned to the video camera, mounted in a corner. I'd like my librarian consultation, please. What's up, Kyle? Asked Miguel. I'm playing a hunch. The holographic Mrs. Tobin appeared behind the young adult librarian's desk. How may I help you, Kyle? My friends and I want to play Bibliomania, but we are wondering, is there a new set of cards? Yes, Kyle, there is. And a fresh deck of cards popped up through a slot in the desk. We'll just play one bookshelf, said Kyle, because we're a team now, right, bro? Said Miguel. Right, plus we don't have all day. Well, said Acme, technically we do. In fact, we have the rest of the day and tomorrow till noon. We've got like 19 hours left, said Miguel. But Charles and others, said Sierra, they could beat us. Right, said Kyle. After all, he is Chillington, and according to Sir Charles, they never lose. Miguel, you're the newest member of the team. You spin first. Miguel rubbed his hands together, limbered up his fingers, practiced flicking his index finger off his thumb, made sure he had a good snap to follow through. Would you hurry up and spin before my brain explodes, pleaded Acme. No problem. Miguel flicked the plastic pointer and it whirled around, and the cardboard square decorated with a sunburst of 10 colorful triangles. Booyah, the triple zeros general knowledge. That's not so great, said Kyle. How come? You get to move 0 spaces. Oh, bummer. Acme shot up her hand. Yes, said Kyle. Do we really have to spin and count spaces and all that junk? We have a deadline. Clocks everywhere are ticking against us. Maybe we can just pull a pink card, suggested Sierra. It's really not how you play the game, said Kyle. But We're not really playing the game, Kyle, said Acme. We're playing the other one, the big game, the one with the ginormous prize. I have to agree, Acme, said Miguel. Fine, said Kyle. It's against the rules, but pull a pink card. You sure, bro? Just pull a pink. Miguel quickly sorted the new deck into 10 stacks of different colors. He pulled the pink on the top of its pile. These are different from the regular cards. He turned it over and showed it to the group. 0 plus 27 plus 0.4 equals. Easy peasy, said Acme. The answer is 27.4 because a 0 doesn't change the sum. Not in math, said Miguel, but that isn't math. This is the Dewey Decimal System, and there's always 3 numbers to the left of the decimal point. We need to find a book with the call number 027.4, added Sierra. Fine, said Acme, but I guarantee you it isn't a math book. The team made their way around the balcony, circling the Dewey Decimal doors. Here we go, said Miguel. He slid this library card into a reader on the door labeled 000. Okay, said Miguel, and here we're going to find general knowledge, almanacs, encyclopedias, bibliographies, books about library science. It's a science, said Acme. Where do they keep the chemicals? In the library paste, joked Sierra, who was loosening up. She hadn't read one page of a book in hours. Found it, said Miguel, reaching up to pull a book off the shelf. 027.4, man, it's old. Look how yellow the pages are. So what's the antique's title, said Acme. Get to Know Your Local Library by Amy Alazio and Aaron Downey. Miguel held the book so everybody could see the cover. It was illustrated with a cartoony-looking detective in a checkered hat who was holding up a magnifying glass to examine books on a shelf. Looks like a library guide for kids, said Miguel, opening the cover to read one of the inside pages. First publication was way back in 1952. He flipped through a few pages. It explains the Dewey Decimal System, contains a glossary of library terms, and a brief history of libraries. He reached the back of the book. Awesome. What? Asked Kyle, as he and the others moved closer to see what Miguel had found. It's an old-fashioned book slip from the Alexandriaville Public Library, the one they tore down. Yep, and this card, tucked into the sleeve glued to the back cover, comes from the olden days when they used to stamp the date of the book was due on a grid, and you had to fill in your name under issue 2, and look who checked this book out on May 26, 1964. Kyle and the others looked. Luigi Lemoncello. Down to the first floor, Charles used his library card to open the door to the community meeting room A. Who is to have access to this room? Cooed a soothing voice from the ceiling. Me and my teammates, said Charles, Andrew Peckelman and Haley Daly. Thank you. Please have the Andrew Peckelman and Haley Daly swipe their cards through the reader now. Both of them did. Thank you. Entrance to the community meeting room A will be limited to those approved by the host, Charles Chillington. Have a good meeting. Charles and his team entered the sleek, ultra-modern, white-on-white conference room. There were 12 comfy chairs set up around a glass-top table and a cabinet filled with top-of-the-line audiovisual equipment. You can write on the walls, said Andrew. They're like the smart boards at school. Excellent, said Charles, clasping his hands behind his back and pacing around the room. Now when we find all 12 pictograms and lay them out according to their position in the staff picks display case, they will create a rebus for a phrase that I'm quite certain will tell us exactly how to exit the library without triggering any alarms. Therefore, it is time for all of us to lay our cards on the table. Haley nodded, pulled out 2 more silhouettes out of the back pocket of her jeans. I found one of these in a cookbook, she said. The other was in juvenile fiction. Nancy drew The Mystery at Lilac Inn. There are blank note cards in this drawer, announced Andrew. We should use them as placeholders for the books we still need to find. They laid out a 3x4 grid of cards on the tabletop. What does it mean? Said Andrew. Simple, said Charles. It means we need to find those other 6 books. That's it.